Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scripps Research Open House. Whether it is good morning, good afternoon, or good evening for you, we wanted to welcome you and actually thank you for taking your time to learn more about our not only our research institute but also our graduate program. So to start off the virtual open house, we want to give a little bit of history from our institute. And Scripps Research was founded on 1924, and it wasn't until 1989 until the institute got a graduate program itself. And since then, we've been expanding and growing, and you can tell that we've been very successful at those things because not only we added a lot of different facilities and buildings. For example, in 2017, we added the Scripps Research Translational Institute led by Eric Topol, which if you haven't read his latest book, Super Agers, highly recommend it. But also in 2018, we added one of the biggest additions to Scripps, which is Caliber SCAGs, which mainly focus on drug discovery and drug development and enabling clinical trials. Huge addition to Scripps Research. And naturally, a great research institute attracts not only great students, but also fantastic faculty. And I think a true testament to that is in the quality of the faculty that we have, right? So for example, in 2022, Barry Sharpless won not only his first one, he won actually his second Nobel Prize. And just like him, we have multiple faculty with high accolades and great research going on here. And like I said, since it's been 100 years since Scripps started, we continue expanding. As of last year, we opened our newest state-of-the-art building for research, the Shihui Wong Laboratory for Biomedical Research. So again, we keep growing, we keep expanding, and naturally, we have a lot to show for that. And speaking about our institute, we have a very strong foundation on which we keep on building. And since we are all scientists in the room, I wanted to let the data speak for itself, right? You don't have to believe me. We are currently ranked top 5 among the biomedical institutes in the world. We have multiple great accolades within our faculty. For example, like I mentioned before, we got 6 Nobel Prizes, 2 MacArthur Fellows. We got 6 Wolf Prizes among our chemists. And the addition of Caliber SCAGs and all these other translational institutes and components of Scripps Research has led to multiple great achievements. For example, we have 15 FDA-approved drugs and vaccines. Um, and currently we have more than 50 active spin-off companies. So I think that's a really good testament to the quality of research that we have ongoing here at Scripps Research. Speaking about the institute and the research, a big component of this is also the graduate program, which is usually what you're interested in today, and mainly what we will focus on today. So Scripps Research Graduate Program is ranked 7 currently in chemistry overall, and 9th in biology, and this is following the best grad schools in the US rankings. And we truly do believe that we recruit exceptional talent and just make our best effort and put in all our work and heart into helping you become the great scientist that we know you can be through your PhD process, through your PhD grad training. And again, let's take a look at the data, right? So from our newest class, last cycle, we have almost 1,800 applications, and we only accepted 51 students, which is a true testament to we are a very competitive program. But don't let those numbers scare you, because later on today, we'll have some colleagues, faculties, and current students provide you with tips for putting together the strongest application that you can, so you give your best shot at getting into Scripps Research. So speaking about our graduate program, I wanted to quickly clarify something since we have a lot of interest from different parts of the world, which is why one of the reasons why our graduate program is so strong. I wanted to clarify that Scripps Research is a PhD granting degree granting institute. And what that means is that at the end of your training here, you will earn a Doctor of Philosophy, which looks like that means that we are a 5-year program that has minimal coursework. Usually students just finish their classes around the end of the first year's, uh, beginning of the second year. And we really do have a heavy emphasis on research, right? But the main thing about our program is that within 5 years, you'll go from a student into a successful scientist. And as part of your PhD, the end product will be a dissertation, which means that you will be the first one in the world to discover something. Um, my master degree is not required. It's okay if you have one, but you don't need a master degree in the United States to start at any PhD program or at our PhD program. And a big incentive for the PhD training, I believe, in this day and age is that tuition, stipend, and benefits typically are paid for by the school, aka Scripps Research. So you technically get paid to do research and go to classes and learn and just be an amazing researcher. And when you end your PhD, what does this mean? Well, you are now prepared for multiple research careers, and you can go into academia, for example, in a professor role. You can go into industry as an industry researcher, or many, many other career paths that you will be able to explore and get guidance on through one of the offices that we have here, the Career and Development office. But I'll talk about that a little later. So this sounds all good. What does it take to earn a PhD? Ideally, multiple first authors, publications, and I know that can sound intimidating if you're currently an undergrad, but trust me when I say that this is easily achieved by all of our students that go through the PhD training here at Scripps. Um, and another thing that it takes to earn a PhD is that, like I mentioned before, you're gonna be the first one and become the world expert at something, which is pretty exciting. And it's a long journey. It's not gonna happen overnight. And along with the many success, there's a lot of challenges. For example, a lot of our students are facing this transition from student to scientist, right? You are getting trained to critically think, and not only critically think, but doing it in an independent manner. So we are very good at helping you go from directed critical thinking to independent critical thinking. And through that process, there'll be a lot of failure. I believe if you talk to any scientist, they will agree that science is mostly failures. That's why you cherish so much the successes. Um, and through your training here or at any PhD program, you will develop a lot of resilience. And it sounds, again, it's a long process, but you're not alone in this. And I think a good indicator of that is that we have a very, very high success rate of completion rate of our graduate program. Currently, we have 86% of completion rate, and our time to degree is 5.3 years, which is very comparable to other institutions of the same caliber. Usually, the average graduation rate, time to degree is around 5.5, 6 years. So we're right up there. And again, letting the data speak for us, from the 61 PhD students who graduated in this May, collectively, they published more than 225 papers at the time of the commencement. And again, quick math quickly tells you that that's a lot more than just one first author publication, right? So it's safe to say that our students not only get prepared to be independent scientists, but also they are very successful scientists from the moment they graduate. So what does our program look like in terms of student body and faculty members? So we are a bi-coastal program. We have campuses both in California and Florida, amazing locations to do research and live on. With California having around 300 graduate students, 285 postdoc fellows, and more than 110 faculty members. While on the Florida side, it's a little bit smaller. We have around 75 graduate students, 50 postdoc fellows, and around 25 faculty, graduate program faculty members. This faculty number is rising, and we keep adding faculty as time goes on, so it keeps growing. But I think one thing that I want to highlight from these numbers is that you can tell that regardless of the campus that you are interested in, you will still get that almost one-to-one more personalized training, in the sense of, like, from the 300 students that we have, we almost have a one-to-one ratio in postdocs. And that's really important. And I will encourage you to not only look at this at Scripps Research, but at any graduate program that you're interested in. Who's going to be available other than your advisor to, you to be able to bounce off ideas and learn, and just what type of training and attention you're going to get there. And based on these numbers, you can tell that this is very tight-knit community that we have here at Scripps Research. So in terms of departments, so again, we're a bi-coastal program, and both campuses have departments in chemistry, immunology and microbiology, molecular medicine, and neuroscience, with the California campus having a couple more departments. For example, the integrative structural and computational biology department, which keeps growing in interest, and rightfully so. We have fantastic faculty like Ian Wilson and Andrew Warr, who has made huge contributions to this field. And we also have the translational medicine department. And again, I want to clarify that while the title of the department is translational medicine, it is a PhD training, so no medical degree are granted from our institution or our graduate program. So now that we talked about the departments, let's talk about the benefits that you get as a PhD student here at Scripps Research. Our benefits are very, very competitive. So we offer a stipend of $45,760 in California and $43,680 in Florida. We do offer a pretty good incentive if our students are able to secure an external fellowship of $10,000 to their stipend. So that will take you up to $55,000 in California and for $53,000 in Florida. So our students from the first year are always working on trying to secure external fellowship, and I'm happy to announce that as the time goes on and we keep growing as a program, more and more of our students are able to secure those competitive fellowship programs. So it's absolutely achievable. In terms of benefits, we offer medical, 100% in network coverage. We offer very good plans for our graduate students, vision plans and dental plans, and we also have mental health coverage. One of the big things here at Scripps is that we are true advocates for taking care of your mental health. So again, not only through the benefits, but with other components if in our program. For example, we have on-site counseling. We really want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, and then you're bringing the best version of yourself every day to campus. In terms of tuition, our graduate students don't pay tuition. It's included in your scholarship. So that's a big plus. If you're coming straight from undergrad, that might come across as too good to be true, but it is true. You basically get a stipend to conduct cutting-edge research and learn from the best faculty members that we have here at Scripps. And some of the additional benefits that I wanted to highlight are that we provide free textbooks and an institute-issued laptop computers to all of our first-year students. And we also provide financial support in the sense of matching funds for conference travel, because we acknowledge that part of developing as a researcher and as a scientist is communicating your science and going to conferences. So we make sure that we support our students as much as we can. We also offer gym membership reimbursement, which is a big thing that our students love. We offer financial support for childcare and a 10K interest-free loan, which usually our students take on if they need to relocate, and among many other expenses. And last but not least, I wanted to highlight that we do have on both campuses free parking, which at this day and age, I think is a very amazing perk to have. And not only is free, but we also have very nice parking structures. We recently opened, like I said, a new building here in California, and along with that is a new parking structure that is not only more parking for our students, but also it's fully equipped with, if you have an e-bike or an electric car, it has chargers and everything. So state of the art everywhere you take a look at. In terms of grad student support, like I mentioned before, we have on-site counseling on both campuses. So again, we advocate for our students' mental health. So we provide as much support as we can. We also have career services in the sense of we have dedicated staff with ongoing programs that will help you plan for your future. So we not only focus on developing your current abilities as a scientist, but we also help you transition into the next step after you graduate. We have ombuds and also international service office, or ISO. And since I believe almost 50% of our cohorts are usually international students, at least in the previous years, we do have a strong support for all of them, which is, I think, noteworthy. And going along the lines of other things that we do to support our grad students while they're getting their training here at Scripps, I wanted to highlight the first year experience. I lead that effort myself. I'm the graduate student success manager. So what this means is that we aim to provide every single student that we accept an exceptional experience on their first year going forward. And the way we do this is through reaching out to you even before you get to campus with critical things that you can do or things you need to know even before you get to campus to make sure that you're ready day one when you arrive here. We have a very, very interactive and fun orientation process. Usually it runs through the month of August. And we have a lot of things focused on the first year. For example, we have a peer mentoring program. We have a lot of student organizations that plan events for our students in the first year, just so you not only feel at home at lab, but also realize that Scripps Research is a community that you can rely on through, the time that you're here for your PhD training. As our students progress through the program, it looks pretty similar in the sense of all of our students are required to take 18 course credit, which translate into 6 courses. 4 of them needs to be core classes. What that means is they're letter graded, and then you can take 2 electives that are pass or fail. And like I mentioned before, a big focus of our program and our training is helping you become the best researcher that you can. And in order to do so, we have a heavy focus on research itself. As a first year, you go through multiple laboratory rotations, and our students can do from 1 to 3 rotations. Usually rotations span within 8, 10, or 12 weeks, depending on how much time you and your advisor think is appropriate for the project that you're aiming for your rotation. And it's completely up to the students to decide what those rotations are. And something that I want to highlight about our rotation process is that even if you're interested in neurobiology, for example, and if you apply to the neurobiology track, if you find a faculty in the computational science that you're interested in and you want to rotate, you can do that. That's the beauty of having a very flexible program that mainly focuses on the research. And other things to highlight about the program progression for our students is that we have thesis research is gauged on publications, conference, and dissertations. A little quick information about our curriculum. We have a lot of different things to offer, and we keep updating it constantly. For example, we have new comp bio class as requested by our students. So that should tell you that we really do listen to the students' need, and we try to accommodate what they need. Another thing about our graduate program is that students are required to have a committee member, and this consists of 3 to 4 faculty members that in addition to your advisor. And you can see this group of scientists as your mentors outside the lab that will always be there to support you and provide feedback to your training, which is a crucial thing. And as the grad student success manager, I help you to determine who are the best members to put in your committee if you have some questions or concerns about it. So all that is focused on science, but we also have a lot of co-curricular activities because we know that a well-rounded scientist is not always at lab. So we do organize a lot of things. For example, we host an annual grad student symposium which allow our students to share their research progress with everyone on campus and just overall have a good time. We have a distinguished lecture series, we have TA graduate classes, and Shannon will go into more detail about this, but we do not require TAing, but it is available. So if you want to TA, if you're interested in teaching, it is a possibility. And we also have a very, very strong alumni mentoring program, which is great because that tells you that students that graduate keep active within the community, and it's just a true testament of how good and great our community here at Scripps Research is. Speaking of more activities, we have a lot of things student-led, and I wanted to highlight a couple of the groups that we have on campus. For the California campus, we have the Grad Student Council, the Scientific Diversity Association, Network for Women in Science, SACNA Chapter Biotechnology, Outdoors, Indoors. So in a nutshell, if you have an interest and you want to find people within your cohort or within Scripps Research that share that interest, chances are we already have a club for it. If it doesn't exist, we help you find those people too. So it's just another sign of how well-rounded our program is. Like I previously mentioned, we also have a career and professional development office, which basically helps you prepare for the next step. And as soon as the first year, you can start meeting with the staff at this office to try to plan ahead of time and just make sure that you're prepared for life post PhD. We also offer a lot of opportunities to mentor, specifically undergrads. While we don't have an undergrad program ourselves, an academic undergrad program, we do have a lot of summer undergrad research programs, which allow you again to mentor undergrad through the summer. And it's one of our students' favorite activity because again, you get that chance to mentor an undergrad and just through the summer see them grow as a scientist, which is obviously one of our favorite things to do when you like teaching. And we have multiple community outreach events. For example, one of our biggest events, it's upcoming this year, is the Fleet Science outreach event. And we truly believe that scientific communication is an important part of a good scientist. So we try to provide as many opportunities as we can so you can practice your scientific communication, not only within scientists, but also within members of the community. With all that said, you probably are wondering what makes Scripps Research so unique. And I hope through all the things that I highlighted, you can agree that and can see that we're really a research-driven institution, right? We don't have undergrad degree programs. We don't have teaching requirements, although if you're interested in teaching, it is a possibility. But it's truly a program designed to help you develop as a scientist. And the way you do that is up to you. You will receive all the help and all the guidance from the grad program and the faculty, but we truly train people to independently think. And every student that graduates from a program is graduates being a successful critical thinker and scientist. We are very interdisciplinary. You might have noticed that we have multiple departments, or just one graduate program, and it comes with a lot of perks. For example, like I mentioned, if you're interested in neuroscience or molecular biology, but if you find a lab that doesn't fall within that department, you are able to do your thesis in that department, in that lab, regardless of, your initial interest. And we have not only world-class instrumentation, but we also have world-class faculty, world-class grad students, which just overall makes up a really great atmosphere and training environment for our graduate students. And with that said, I hope you're excited about potentially applying to Scripps Research. So I'm going to hand it over to my colleague and friend Shannon, who is going to talk more about admissions process here at Scripps Research.
Thank you, Lucas. I only have a few minutes left, it looks like, so I'm going to try to cover as much information as I can about the admissions and application process before we move on to the next session. But I want to start out by stating that the application required, well, I'm going to talk mostly about the logistics and the administrative process. Any questions about, how can I make my application stand out? What are we looking for? All that, we're going to cover that in the next session. So hold on to those questions for now. The application, as you can probably see, the application is already open on our website and it is due on December 1st. We're an umbrella program, and what that means is that when you apply, you are not applying to a specific department or a specific lab or anything like that. Rather, you're applying to the program overall. I know Lucas highlighted that in his presentation as well, that one other thing that's really unique about Scripps is there are no departmental barriers. So you could come in and really pick any department, any lab, anything that interests you, and rotate and join labs in those departments. Another thing about Scripps is we have, like we mentioned, there are two campuses. We have one in Jupiter, Florida, and one in California. When you apply to the program, you're not specifically going to be asked which campus you'd like to attend. Rather, you're going to be applying to the program overall. If you are interested in one campus or the other, the way that you can let the committee know and let us know what campus you're interested in is by the faculty that you choose in your application. So you'll be asked to choose which faculty you are potentially interested in working with, and you'll be able to choose faculty from either California, Florida, or both. So keep in mind that when you are filling out this information, if, for example, if you are only interested and you can only see yourself attending Florida, for example, make sure you only choose faculty from Florida, because that lets the committee know that you're interested in Florida. Same for California. If you're only interested in being considered for California, you'd want to select faculty from California. And if you're open to both, if you just really want to come to Scripps, regardless of what campus, you can select faculty from both campuses, and that lets the committee know that you're interested and we'll consider you for both campuses. The application requirements are pretty standard. We require unofficial transcripts from all schools you've attended in your undergrad and as well as grad school, if that applies to you. Letters of recommendation, I'll talk more about that in a moment. Your CV or resume. We ask for a statement of purpose. This will be a 2-page statement that combines your research experience along with your personal statement. And again, I'll get into that as well. International students, if you are a non-US citizen and you have done your schooling outside of the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, any of those countries, you will be required to submit English language proficiency scores. So that can be done whether it's the TOEFL, the IELTS, or the Duolingo test. Unfortunately, we cannot offer any waivers of this test. So if you're an international student that did your schooling, again, like I said, outside of one of the countries that I mentioned, but perhaps the coursework was done in English, or maybe English might even be one of the primary languages spoken. Unfortunately, the language test still would be required. The only way it's waived or not a requirement, like I said, is if you did your schooling either in the US, Canada, or one of the other countries that I mentioned. And again, we do not require official documents at this time. If you've taken the test and you have a PDF copy of your test scores, you're welcome to upload those. SCAG's Oxford program, I'll talk about that as well. But if you're applying to the SCAG's Oxford program, the application requirements are the same. We just ask for an additional statement that is tailored to the Oxford program and kind of what you're looking for in Oxford, what you'd like to get out of that experience. And there is a $100 application fee. Back to the letters of recommendation. This is something that I really want to point out, and I want to make sure everyone is, I really want to stress this part here. As I mentioned, the application is due on December 1st. We do allow through December 15th to get in extra documents, like, for example, letters of recommendation. And I want to stress that your application is your responsibility. It's very important that you keep track of your application and what has been submitted. I know that it's kind of stressful to have to wait, when you have a recommender and you're waiting for them to submit their letters. Please keep in mind that you get in touch with your recommenders, let them know of the deadlines, and make sure they stick to it. If you have someone that's not responding or kind of lagging, you may want to give them a little poke and reach out and say, please make sure you get my letters in on time. It's very important that you request the letters well ahead of time. Most often, these folks that are writing your letters are writing letters for several people, so they're very busy. But basically, I mean, we would hate to see that you put all this effort into your application and submit it and have it be incomplete due to waiting for letters. Because like I'll say, after December 15th, the application closes and anything not completed by December 15th can't be reviewed by the committee. So please make sure you're keeping on top of your recommenders there. And next slide, please. Personal statement. So I'm not going to go too much in depth here because the admissions committee members in the next session will probably talk a bit about this. But basically, if you're looking for, what should you write in your statement? This is really your chance to tell us your story. What brought you here? Why are you interested in going to grad school? What do you hope to pursue after you get your degree? And all of those types of things. But really importantly, we like to see that your statement is tailored to Scripps. The committee can always tell if you have a generic statement that you just wrote and sent it off to 15 different schools. We really like to see why it is that you're interested in Scripps. As Lucas highlighted, we have a lot of different unique things about our program, and we like to know what is it that attracts you to that type of environment. What do you hope to do when you come to Scripps? In your statement, you can also mention if there's any faculty members in particular that you might be interested in working with. Tell us a little bit about that. It really helps the committee to see that you have done your homework and that you can kind of envision yourself here in the program and what you'd like to be doing if you were a student here at Scripps. Next slide. SCAGS Oxford. Okay, so Scripps offers a dual degree program with the University of Oxford in the UK. There is only one application when you're applying to the program. When you will see in the drop-down menu, you're going to be asked what program you're applying for. You'll see the Scripps doctoral program and SCAGS Oxford. So when you click on SCAGS Oxford, you are essentially then applying to both Scripps and SCAGS Oxford in one application. So all the application requirements that I mentioned before are the same, except you will, like I mentioned, include an additional statement. And the way this program works is that it's a 6-year program across 2 campuses, like I mentioned, Oxford, and then here in Scripps, California. And you would spend 3 years on one campus and finish up there and then move to the other campus. Typically, you can decide if you'd like to start the program at Oxford or at Scripps. And then depending on which campus you start at, I think you can go to the next slide, Lucas. This is just a kind of an overview, depending on within the program, how that would look. Actually, there you go. Yeah. How that would look depending on what campus you start out at. There's different requirements. So again, wherever you start, you will follow the program, the program for that campus. This is a very competitive program. Typically, we admit between 1 to maybe 3 students each year. But it's a great way to experience research in different research environments and get a lot of great information and research. And during the program, you'll get a chance to visit the other campus. So for example, if you start at Oxford, you'll get a chance to come out to California during your time there and, meet with potential advisors here and vice versa. Next slide. Here's some statistics on admissions. This was our numbers from last year. So we had received close to 1,800 applications, which is a record high number for us. You can see the number of folks that we interviewed, how many offers were made, and then how many students ultimately enrolled in the program. I'll point out that we don't have a target number of international students. I know that question comes up a lot. We're just really looking to take the best of the best students, regardless of where you're from. So the admission numbers for this upcoming year will likely be similar to last year. So I believe in California, we're looking to admit between maybe 40, 45 students, and in Florida, between 10 and 12. We don't have a minimum GPA requirement or TOEFL score requirement or anything like that, but based on the applicant pool, average GPA is about 3.57, as you can see here. Next slide. Here's some important dates to remember. So like I mentioned, the application is open now. The deadline to submit is December 1st. And as I said, December 15th is the final deadline to make sure that all your letters of recommendation have been received. And the review process starts in early December after all the applications have been submitted. So the committee will get together, and over several weeks, they will be reviewing all the applications and making their decisions. If you're invited to interview, the earliest you might hear back would be probably the end of December. Throughout latest being maybe mid to late January. So those invitations kind of go out in several different rounds, but that's generally the time frame which you might expect to hear back from us. And then following the interviews, we send out our offers and we wait to hear back from everyone. And once we have our final numbers and class enrolled, we do a lot of information over the summer to get everyone prepared to begin in August. The program officially starts on August 1st, with classes starting in September. And the one of the cool things about that there is we get everyone here in August so that they can get acclimated to the campus, start their rotations, kind of get used to being in the lab. And we do a lot of different trainings and social events to get everybody all ready and geared up. And then classes begin in September. And you really dive in from there. Next slide. Oh, so that was admissions in a nutshell. Myself and Paolo is my colleague in Florida, who you'll meet in one of the upcoming sessions. He and I are your grad office team that handle admissions. So if at any point you have any questions, need any assistance or anything throughout the admissions process, when you contact this email address here, either he or I are happy to help and assist and answer all your questions and see you through the application process. And I look forward to answering emails from you all and seeing your applications. And I think that's it as far as